Did you see what's going on? Obviously, you've seen what's going on in California. But the governor gave this creepy fucking speech where he was talking about speculators coming in and talking about what to do with the land of all these homes that have been burnt down while it's still only 6% contained. And he did this little dance like, I've been talking with these, with the governor of Hawaii about what to do. We got some ideas. A speculator, we're gonna have some meetings. Like, he's
really?
Oh.
California Governor Gavin Newsom is now calling his city's homeless encampments unacceptable, which is odd since he's the guy who, made them acceptable, turning sidewalks into red carpet events for drug addicts, thieves, and unemployed CNN anchors. On Monday, he urged cities to ban the camps from sidewalks, parks, and other public areas. So after years of denying the problem, he's now pretending to fix it, which is like putting on a condom as you're leaving a whorehouse. Who hasn't?
It started with confidence but quickly spiraled into a moment few viewers will forget. As Gavin Newsom faced mounting pressure on camera, the tone shifted from controlled to combustible. The Joe Rogan Experience host Joe Rogan pressed hard with pointed questions and data-driven challenges, setting the stage for a tense exchange. Then Greg Gutfeld entered the broader conversation with biting satire and sharp-edged commentary that amplified the spectacle. What unfolded felt less like a routine disagreement and more like a political firestorm, rapid, relentless, and impossible to ignore, leaving audiences glued to the screen as the debate ignited across media platforms.
Nobody wants President Newsom either. Nobody believes in that guy. That guy's a fucking con man. Everything he did in California, from trying to mandate vaccines for kids to being caught public without a mask and lying about the fact that he was outdoors.
Yeah.
Nobody believes in that guy. He's just a politician. Just a stone-cold, narrative-driven politician. Nobody thinks he's a real human. Whether you like Trump or not, whether you think he's corrupt or not, that's a human being. You know what that guy is. Same thing with RFK Jr. Whether you believe that he's correct about vaccines or whether you believe his policies would be effective, and that's a human being. With Newsom, you got like this construct, this cardboard cutout of a person. I don't think people want that. But
the camera locked onto Gavin Newsom, poised at the podium with the polished confidence that has long defined his public persona. But the tone shifted fast. As Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld sharpened their commentary, what began as a composed political exchange escalated into a high-impact media showdown. Rogan pressed with direct, probing challenges, while Gutfeld layered in biting satire, turning the moment into something far more combustible than a routine debate. The contrast between poised presentation and relentless critique created a televised collision, one that felt less like discussion and more like a dramatic test of message, optics, and resilience under pressure.
Kennedy, I think the answer is yes, 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 yes.
Is it because of Israel? Yes. Interest rates? Yes. Too woke? Yes. It's like every bad policy that trickled up to the White House during the Biden administration started in California. That state is responsible for the worst politicians in modern history. And he is at the top of the list, and there are some ignoramuses on that.
Let's talk about Gavin Newsom. He enters the political arena with a polished presence, camera-ready smile, carefully crafted soundbites, and the poise of a seasoned public figure. Long positioned as a leading voice in progressive politics, Newsom pairs confident rhetoric on issues like climate policy and economic reform with a sleek, media-savvy image. Yet critics argue that beneath the refined delivery lies a deeper question. Does the presentation translate into measurable progress? That tension between optics and outcomes has become central to his public narrative, fueling debate over whether his leadership represents substantive governance or simply the art of political performance at its most sophisticated.
Their houses have been burned, all their childhood memorabilia, all the stuff for their kids, the photos, the fucking everything they have is gone. All heirlooms, their mother's wedding ring, that kind of shit. Everything's burnt to the ground. And this guy's like standing in front of all this stuff, and he's got a smile on his face, and he's talking about land use.
The development plan.
Critics are especially sharp when it comes to Gavin Newsom's climate agenda. They argue that while the rhetoric around clean energy and electrification is ambitious, California's power grid challenges have at times exposed a gap between aspiration and infrastructure. calls to accelerate electric vehicle adoption have occasionally collided with conservation advisories during peak demand hours, creating moments opponents label as political irony. Supporters view these tensions as growing pains in a massive energy transition. Detractors see them as evidence of policy moving faster than preparation. Either way, the debate underscores a central question shaping his leadership narrative. Can bold environmental vision translate into reliable, on-the-ground results?
He's the guy who thinks he's going to run for president when, so much of the state is absolutely unlivable. And so every project that he's championed, he's now trying to demonize conveniently, and people are not that dumb. Like, people have been through it in his state. They are sick of him. They want him to leave. And maybe that's why so many people around him are like, you should totally run for president. So he gets out of the state.
Yes. Move away. Tyrus, did he leave?
When Joe Rogan made the decision to leave California for Texas, it wasn't a quiet relocation. It became a cultural flashpoint. From the studio of the Joe Rogan Experience, one of the most influential platforms in digital media, Rogan amplified his criticisms of pandemic-era policies under Gavin Newsom's leadership. He questioned lockdown mandates, business restrictions, and what he framed as inconsistencies in enforcement, turning his move into a broader statement about governance and personal freedom. Supporters saw it as a stand against overreach. Critics dismissed it as political theater. Either way, the clash between Rogan's unfiltered commentary and Newsom's policy-driven approach fueled a national debate that stretched far beyond state lines.
Down in Hawaii, you had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties, and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
With a big smile on his face. Look at the little wiggle he does with his shoulders. Speculator, watch this. Talking to Josh. Look at this little wiggle. It's excited about the possibilities of speculators coming in. And he's saying we're move forward. We're going to move forward on that. These people lost their homes. A lot of those people don't even have fire insurance because the fire insurance pulled out of California. I think 69% of fire insurance pulled out of California because they're like, this is too crazy. Like, you guys aren't doing jack shit to manage this. You're not clearing the brush.
When Joe Rogan relocated his studio to Austin, he didn't frame it as a simple move. He presented it as a statement. From the microphone of the Joe Rogan Experience, he hosted physicians, economists, and cultural commentators who questioned California's pandemic restrictions and business climate under Gavin Newsom. Rogan argued that prolonged shutdowns strained small businesses while large corporations weathered the storm more easily, and he pointed to broader tech migrations to Texas as evidence of shifting economic tides. Supporters saw his departure as a vote for flexibility and opportunity. Critics countered that California remained a global innovation hub despite its challenges. Either way, his move transformed personal relocation into a national conversation about policy, trust, and the future of economic freedom.
So, while Californians have lost their homes and they're still suffering from the devastation, what does Gavin Newsom decide to do? Well, now is apparently the perfect time to try and boost his popularity and essentially promote himself. He's launched a podcast. I'll play you the trailer in just a moment, but take notice. Does the trailer that he shared with the world on X, does it even mention the most horrific fire catastrophe that occurred under his leadership, partly as a result of the decisions he was making, like cutting fire prevention? No, this is his chance to talk about his image, insisting that he's no ordinary.
The critique didn't rely on raised voices or spectacle. It centered on tone and timing. As Joe Rogan questioned whether California's direction was sustainable, Greg Gutfeld layered in his signature satire, delivering pointed lines with calculated restraint. Their focus eventually zeroed in on Gavin Newsom, contrasting his polished public image with persistent challenges facing the state, from homelessness to struggling small businesses. Supporters argue those issues are complex and long-standing. Critics frame them as evidence of policy missteps. The result was a sharp, media-driven confrontation, less about volume and more about narrative, fueling a broader debate over leadership, optics, and outcomes in modern governance.
About anything? I think there's about 100 other reasons too.
Well, it's not his words when he speaks.
Yeah.
You have to watch him closely. and some genius decided not to film him any lower than the shoulder.
Yes, did you? Yes.
So what did he do?
You couldn't see the hands.
No, but he sent Morse code.
Yes.
Go back and watch it. Look at the blinking. Blink, look. Meet me at the house. Like, he's blinking. He's sending, I'm getting there. Hey, just so you know, I'm not wearing pants.
As the commentary intensified, Greg Gutfeld shifted his focus beyond policy and toward what he framed as the media's favorable portrayal of Gavin Newsom. With biting satire, he contrasted glowing headlines about visionary leadership with the economic pressures many Californians cite: rising living costs, energy concerns, and housing strain. Gutfeld zeroed in on climate initiatives in particular, questioning their affordability and implementation, while supporters argue they represent long-term investment in sustainability. The result was sharp, headline-ready commentary that challenged not only Newsom's agenda but also the narrative surrounding it, turning the segment into a broader debate about media framing, economic reality, and the true cost of ambitious reform.
When Gavin Newsom talks about California, he's like, you know, I'm very big on California, very bullish on California. Hey, they're all moving. The only reason why they don't move is because it's too difficult to move. It's too expensive to leave versus all the bullshit with all the permits and all that. It's too expensive. Believe that he's correct about vaccines, or whether you believe his policies would be effective. And you know, that's a human being. With Newsom, you've got like this construct, this cardboard cutout of a person. I don't think people want that, but they might want it more than they want.
Speculation about a potential 2028 presidential bid has followed Gavin Newsom for years, but critics remain unconvinced. During the segment, Greg Gutfeld used pointed humor to question whether California's ongoing challenges would complicate any national ambitions, arguing that executive performance at the state level would inevitably shape a broader campaign narrative. Joe Rogan reinforced that skepticism from his own platform, pressing policy concerns and governance outcomes. Supporters counter that Newsom's experience and policy record position him as a serious contender. Regardless, the exchange fused satire with political speculation, turning talk of the White House into a high-voltage media moment that reignited debate over leadership, accountability, and 2028's looming shadow.
Runs for national office, he acts like a Republican. This is where the left is really pro-trans. Suddenly, they grow bald.
What made the moment resonate wasn't volume, it was contrast. Joe Rogan spoke in a measured, deliberate tone, pointing to population shifts, business relocations, and rising homelessness as factors behind his decision to leave California. His calm delivery gave weight to his critique, appealing to listeners who prioritize data and first-hand experience. Then Greg Gutfeld entered with a different cadence, sharp satire, quick timing, and commentary that reframed policy debates into headline-ready moments. Where Rogan leaned on logic and lived experience, Gutfeld wielded humor to challenge official narratives. Together, their contrasting styles amplified the conversation, turning policy criticism into a media flashpoint that rippled across audiences hungry for both receipts and rebuttals.
California Governor Gavin Newsom has been facing major calls to resign over his appalling handling of the deadly California wildfires. And just to quickly recap, these were the most destructive wildfires the state has ever seen. More than 16,000 properties were destroyed. The cost of the fires is estimated to be more than $200 billion. And for businesses in LA County, the future is looking grim. It's projected businesses will continue to lose billions of dollars over the next 5 years.
Despite their different styles, both Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld converged on the same core critique of Gavin Newsom, that presentation may be outpacing performance. Rogan approached it with measured analysis, pointing to policy outcomes and migration trends, while Gutfeld deployed cutting satire to question whether polished speeches translate into tangible results. Supporters argue Newsom's record reflects complex governance in a challenging state. Critics counter that rhetoric has overshadowed measurable progress. Together, the commentary framed a broader question that continues to echo across political discourse. In an era driven by optics and media mastery, does style elevate leadership, or obscure its shortcomings.
When I went there, I had a great relationship with President Xi. We got along very well. And they treated me better than anybody's ever been treated. And I said, this air is good. Do you know they closed every factory 1 week before I got there from within 200 miles?
That's like what Gavin Newsom did when Xi Jinping came to San Francisco.
He cleaned it up.
He cleaned it up. He got rid of all the homeless
Isn't that terrible
people.
in a way to think, you know? He cleaned it up and then it became a pigsty.
Well, the dumbest thing is he said when your friends come by, when you have visitors, you clean up your house. Like, how about just keep your fucking house clean?
Can you imagine?
It's the dumbest thing I've ever
I
heard.
keep bringing up Gavin. Well, other than my respect for his work in American Psycho, he's starting to distance himself from his party's worst ideas. Newsom, a guy who hates fossil fuels but could still bring down the price of gas by wringing out his hair, once proclaimed that his state would be a sanction.
As the debate rippled outward, frustration with political theatrics seemed to resonate across ideological lines. From skeptics of big government to younger voters disillusioned with partisan gridlock, many viewers saw the clash as emblematic of a larger fatigue with optics-driven leadership. In the spotlight stood Gavin Newsom, whose polished image became the focal point of criticism from voices like Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld. Whether through long-form podcast analysis or sharp late-night satire, both framed the moment as less about a single exchange and more about transparency versus performance. The spectacle ultimately sparked a broader question for audiences nationwide. In an era dominated by messaging and media spin, are voters demanding substance over showmanship?